I believe in punctuality. I believe that everybody's time is important. So if I believe that, I'm gonna show up to the meeting 10 minutes before is the time for the meeting, just because I respect everybody's time and I want that everybody to respect others' time.
Welcome to Grow Think Tank. This is the one and only place where you will get insight from the founders and the CEOs of the fastest growing privately held companies. I am the host. My name is Gene Hammett. I help leaders and their teams navigate the defining moments of their growth. Are you ready to grow?
Today, we're going to talk about a phrase that you've heard before. You know what it means, but are you truly living this phrase? And it's leadership by example. You want to make sure that you are a beacon for your people to follow. That could be your loyalty. It could be your integrity, honesty, your ability to communicate well, your ability to be punctual. And in fact, we're going to look at a few of those today in our conversation with the CEO of Core Builder or Boiler and Mechanical Services. They were on the Inc. list recently at 182. Impressive. They're only 4 years in business, but we're talking with Paola Alvarado. And probably butchered that. I'm really learning Spanish, but I really want to make sure that you understand. We're going to speak in English today. Paola talks about leadership by example, what that means to her, what it means to the organization. She gives an example of punctuality, what I think a lot of leaders need to understand and be honest with themselves. Are they respecting others' time? Well, it's important, and it means more than just showing up on time. It is critical to the culture of your business if you think about it. And we talk about some of the other elements around values and transparency. And it really is a great episode about leadership. So lean in and learn from Paola's experience of this. She's 4 years into this business, but a lot to share with you about how to run and how to really create a business that people are attracted to. And that's one of the benefits of their business. My name is Gene Hammett. I am the host of the podcast, but I'm also an executive coach. We do leadership development where we help managers become leaders. And we do this in a unique way through coaching and through training and through facilitation. And we really have a great way to measure leadership. You've probably never heard this before. How do you measure leadership? Well, we've codified it. We have leadership effectiveness evaluation. If you're curious about what that is, there's 7 dials. You want to know where you score on this, and you want to know where your teams are scoring so that you can see where leadership is across the organization. It will allow you to prioritize the areas that you want to work on. It will allow you to know what you're doing well and leverage that in those other new areas that need work. The leadership effectiveness evaluation is free to you. If you're listening here, just go to genehammett.com, schedule your call today, and we will talk about the aspects of leadership that you currently have or don't have to clarify what's most important as you grow and scale your business. And leadership effectiveness evaluation is personalized and customized to you just using those 8 dials that I share with everyone. But all you have to do is go to genehammett.com and schedule your call today. Now, here's the interview with Paola. Paola, how are you?
I'm doing great. Gene, how are you?
I am fantastic. We are going to talk about leadership and really what created the success in your company. Why don't we go ahead and start with your company? Tell us about Core Boiler and Mechanical.
So Core Boiler and Mechanical Service was founded in 2019. It was actually, the business is under my name 100%, but it was three persons that basically came and founded Core. It's me, my husband that works for me, and then another guy who was part owner from a previous partnership. We all started the business together. And so what we do, we are specialized in boilers. We do mechanical work, specialty welding, piping, insulation, any mechanical work. Most of our work, it is geared towards the industrial sites. We also work on the paper mills, but basically what we're known for is that boiler repairs.
You know, I know that there's a lack of skills and talented people out there that are doing this work because for many years, everyone was told to go into a college, and college probably isn't right for everyone. I know we both were industrial engineers, and that was probably right for us. But are you guys having trouble with finding people that really are able to come in and be workers and execute on this on your behalf?
So I do want to say of the business, I think we only have really like 2-3 people that have a college degree, okay, which those include one myself. For example, I do want to say the other two guys that do take the upper management, the leading on the operation sides, they're guys that came from the field. They were welders.
Yeah.
And they worked their way up, and now they are part of the leadership position. So most of the guys that I'm gonna say that take the leadership position, they're not people that went to school, but they're people that got a trade. And this is kind of like what makes it unique. When we go and sell our services, when we go, we know what we're talking about. So, but it is hard to get the people, okay? But I want to say it's not people that went to college, it's people with a trade.
Right.
And
And that's what
it's just
I feel like a lot of people, I mean, I'll just say it, like a lot of people look down on people that only have trade skills. And I feel like for many, many years and decades, this has happened. And now we're in a situation where not a lot of people have it. I feel like there's a swing coming back. There's a lot more people that are like, that is the path for me, because there's some high paying jobs. There's some great opportunities in the trades for electricians and plumbers and welders and what, and you're probably seeing that.
So yes, most of our people, they're people with a trader's skill. I don't want to say that, we always say this: hire for culture and train for skill. We try to get the people that is aligned with our culture, because I feel that we can always train a skill, but we can never get the people to grasp the culture. They don't got it from the beginning.
This is a conversation that comes up quite often inside the podcast. And it's one of the areas where I ask sometimes, what's the biggest mistake you make? Well, we hired poorly. We hired for skill first. And I learned that wasn't the best. Where did you learn that hiring for culture was such an important piece of the hiring?
So I was member of a program that I had in the Baton Rouge area, what is called the CEO Roundtable. Okay. So in this program, it was a program that happened for a year, and every month we met and we basically learned from other business owners. So when we got to that subject about the hiring, this is what I guess it really clicked on me. And this is when, after I learned that, it's like came back over here, it's like, look, we got to make a change. Let's start trying to screen the people just to have the perfect skill. And we just have to come and attract the people with the right culture, and then repel the people that are just not the right fit. We cannot just mold them or try to waste our energy trying to make something that is not there.
Now, Paola just talked about repelling people. Now, you may not think about this, but I want you to really think about it. If there's any area in your business where you have a turnover issue, people are not staying long enough, you want to make sure that within the hiring process, you are repelling people the right way. You are truly sharing with them not just the good, but also the ugly side of this. We had a client of ours that was doing customer service rep work, and they had an extremely high turnover. And one of the first things we did was look at their hiring process and the questions they used and the flow of things to repel people that weren't a fit, so that we didn't waste time on them inside of training and other interviews and things like that. So we did it pretty early in the process. Repelling people is just as important as attracting people, because if you don't repel them actively, you will bring in the wrong people, and it will cost you, because they will turn over. And from there's just a cost to that. So actively repel people, and it'll reduce that cost. It won't take it away, but it'll reduce it. Back to our interview with Paola. When we were doing some research on your company to figure out, you made the Inc. list, you actually made it really high for you. And since 2019, to get to 182 on the Inc. list, very impressive. You feel the real influence that this is important to the company and probably important to your team as well, right?
So I do want to say that I'm part of the entrepreneur organization, and one of my fellow EO members was the one that kind of like got me for me applying, because it was like, I don't feel that I get myself busy or stuck to so many things. So it's like, no, I really don't have time for that. So, but I did just because she said, go do it, and apply for it. When I really saw myself positioning ourselves in the company, this is kind of like where we have to, because we're always on the run, grow, and a setback, and and think about what we're doing, and think about where we want to go, and instead of just keep on that growth and a go mode. So, and same too, to be able to thank the people in the group, So I think it was a good reflection point for us to be able to got to where we got right now.
I want to go to our core conversation around this is lead by example. To me, that means something, it may be different for you. So what does lead by example mean to you as a leader?
So for me as a leader, the lead, for example, and I can just jump in with a quick example. I believe in punctuality. I believe that everybody's time it's important. So if I believe that, I'm gonna show up to the meeting 10 minutes before is the time for the meeting, just because I respect everybody's time and I want that everybody to respect others' time. So, and that's just an example. I want to say though that yeah, I do take I'm the president of the company and I'm the leader, but I didn't start to being the leader. I guess, since I'm the creator, I got to the position, but I've done through all the stages. I know how to do the things. So when I ask somebody to do something, I know what it takes. If we're short of people, I'll go jump and do it. And I work right next to the people. When we have a job at the job site, uh, I work my whole coveralls, PPE, FRC, and I go work with the guys. And it's part of what makes the team.
Really good example on punctuality. I've had clients before that have justified their being late to meetings because they're busy and everyone else might not be as busy as them. And I had to reflect back to them on what message that sends. And it was a real breakthrough for them to realize, oh, if I expect them to be on time, I should be on time too. And what you gave me the example of getting there 10 minutes early, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not 10 minutes early for most things in life, but I work really hard to be on time for everything because it means something to others and it means something to you. It's a part of your identity. Is that fair to say?
It shows the respect, that it shows that you care. It's several values that develop just on that, and that's the values you want there to be. And it's a work, but when you're at work, at the end of the day, that's how you are, either at work or at home. It's what makes you.
I love that you say that, Paola. We're having a conversation about leadership by example, and I would love for you to think about like other aspects of leadership where you have to lead by example. Is there another area besides punctuality?
So I could say I do believe it is something where the integrity, where we are transparent, and this is something that our customers will come back and tell us that, let's say we're put in a job, but if we're told to do the wrong thing, we're not just going to go do it just to get the business. We're going to say, this is not the right way. If you want to do it, you have to follow these 3 steps. If you want to do it good, if you want to call another company, call them. So sometimes for us to stand up for the values of what we believe on, that has taken us a long way. No shortcuts.
Paola just mentioned transparency. And we didn't get a chance to unpack it there, but you have a transparency line. This is a definition or tool I use within my client work to help you understand that there's things that you feel is right to be transparent about, and then there's things that you won't share. You might not share personal aspects of your own, home life. Great. That's where your line is. There may be other places where you are financially where the transparency line is. My hope is that wherever your line is today, that you will edge it a little bit more toward being more transparent than not. Because if you are more transparent with your people, they feel a sense of ownership, they feel a sense of connectedness and oneness that isn't able to replicate that with holding back information and keeping things from them. My hope is that when you're transparent with people, they will rally for you and rally through the challenges around you. Be transparent when you can and be remarkably transparent. That is my hope. Back to Paola. You've said words I've said many times before, but even adding that little last line there, no shortcuts. At one point in time, I thought I'd write a book that there's no shortcuts in business. Now, are there better paths to certain things? I believe so. But if you start making shortcuts and you start looking for angles and you start looking to really kind of game the system, I think you're going to miss the point. You're not building for long term. You also talk about transparency. You've always talked about, values. All of these are words that I've said with my clients. You've probably talked about them with your people. When you think about even let's take values, for example. How far do you take values inside your company in respect to living the values? Is there a way that you feel like that really captures how you live the values for your organization?
So I do believe there's something that we live it, we refresh it to employees, but at the same way, when we go sell, we do the business, we don't go sell the product. We go sell the the why we do the things, the purpose that drive us to do what we do. I guess that's where the passion comes from, and not just the service itself, because and that's what distinguishes us from, I guess, somebody else. We care, we do this for you, we got the we do this is the core business, this is the business that was developed for the people and to keep the quality to the customer.
You gave me a great example with punctuality before. Give me an example of selling the why in your business.
um okay, so a nature of the business, we're a 24/7 company, and since being that, one of the main equipments for the plants could be the boiler. So when the boiler comes down, it could be a Friday night, Saturday, a holiday. They're gonna call you Saturday night, Sunday, whatever time it is. And usually it's on the weekend and it's on this time crunch. It's not gonna be Monday, 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay. You're gonna answer the phone, and well, usually either the way it works, they don't even call the office. The customer has my cell number, and or they have the top management phone number. Okay. They're gonna call me or one of the leaders, and you're gonna answer the phone and you're gonna tell them, yes, give me a minute, give me a couple hours, and I'm gonna have somebody at your facility or I'll be there. So when one of our I guess top values is we're customer centric. So when we say or that being a responsive company, when we say we do, we answer the phone and we expedite, and and at that point it's not about the money, but it's just to providing that service and get the customer back in line as quick as we can, because we care and we know how critical this equipment is for them. They're in a bind, that's what they're calling us. I don't know if it makes sense what I'm trying to say.
No, it does make sense. I think we all would love to think that we are living the value of customer centric, right? I want to make an impact with my coaching. I want to make an impact with this podcast, even though I don't get paid for these things, but it's part of the mission. But when you talk about this, selling the why, that you can't control when the boiler breaks. You can't, you don't have a timer on there and said it's going to be a convenient for us, and your people need you whenever they need you. And so you have to be able to not only respond to it for yourself, but you also have to be able to connect and get buy-in from every one of your employees around that, because they get the call on Saturday night. They're doing most of the welding. I know you've done some welding before, Paola, but they're doing most of the work at these days, right?
So that's how it goes. We get the call from the customer that Saturday night, and at that time we start calling our key people. Hey, can you make the job? It is right now. And most of them will say that yes, and some people will not answer the phone. But we always, I don't know how we do it, but we manage it, and we get the people, we get the crew, and we get a quick back online. But it's that, and that's what I guess goes back with that. The people that we employ, the people that know that this is the nature of the business, this is the bread and butter, so they know when they say yes to the job, they're gonna get those calls. It's not often, but they will.
Is there anything else you do that you feel like helps you demonstrate this message of leadership by example? Because you're expecting your entire executive team to be leaders for their team members. You're expecting the directors and managers to be leaders for their team members. How do you get it to flow through the organization?
So I'll say another other thing that I guess we do, I guess we try not to micromanage nobody that works here. We give them kind of like the expectations, responsibility, but we let him flow and go. And they have the freedom, and we just coach them or give them the needs or things. And I feel this helps for people to take ownership on their things. And that's what we do, and we try to get that to the next tier and the next tier, and it helps.
Another phrase that comes up quite often: get people to take ownership. I've tried to explain this to people in different ways. If you had a new employee that you wanted to understand how we take ownership of the work that's being done, that Saturday night call, how do you explain that we expect you to take ownership of the work in front of you?
maybe I have to step back a little bit. When we build this company, and the name of the business is Core, and that the idea of naming the business Core, this resembles back. This is for the core team. Okay, this is a business built, made for the people. So, and this is something when we hire the people, we do tell them this. This is a company made for the people, and we don't fire anybody. Okay, but we make them feel that ownership, or that they belong to the team. I do want to say we do have a good, the in between the whole employees and the whole thing. It is. I want to say we're a big family.
Yeah. I want to wrap this up because you said some big words there. I know a lot of people hate to fire people, but sometimes people are out of alignment. Sometimes the company outgrows people. Have you guys not faced that at all as you've escalated to this?
Let's say that we don't fire nobody, they fire themselves.
Okay.
And goes back to the culture. You attract the right people and you repel the people that don't want to be part of it. But we don't fire the people. They just, they feel they're not a true fit, they end up leaving,
No, I get that part. And that's the ideal place if you can get people to have the conversations, not just you, but other managers that are on the team, to get people to realize, hey, this isn't the place for you to grow. Like, there's a better place for you. I've asked many of my clients before when they've had to fire someone, and I don't know if it's the most, transformative question, but I'm like, do you think they're really happy? And most of the time they're like, no, they're not happy. It's like, well, set them free, let them go somewhere else, and do it in a kind way. And it has changed the way that their company and culture operates. Paola, I really appreciate you being here, sharing us your wisdom about leadership and what it's taken to get your company to grow. Thank you so much.
Thanks for the opportunity to be here. Thank you.
Great interview. I love that she was sharing with you some of the specific examples that she's learned and she's been able to overcome inside of her journey of leadership. And hopefully you find the value of that as well. I really love having this conversation about leadership by example. She mentioned about employees and the importance of that. It's such an important aspect of leadership for you to lead by example, and do that intentionally and do it at all times. My name is Gene. I'm happy to help you with your executive coaching or leadership needs, whether it be your managers, directors, VPs, or your top tier founders, CEOs. We want to make sure that you're supported and grow with intention. When you think of growth and you think of leadership, think of Growth Think Tank. As always, the courage. We'll see you next time.